Imagine a sea crossing so dangerous that everyone is watching the water. Now imagine succeeding, not by hiding in darkness, but by making the crossing look ordinary. That is the core of the first of the 36 stratagems. Deceive the heavens to cross the sea. The phrase sounds poetic, but the logic is practical. The heavens represent the authority watching from above, commanders, guards, rivals, analysts, or the public. To cross the sea means to move through a dangerous threshold. The trick is to make the real action blend into a pattern the watcher already accepts. This is different from a sudden distraction. A distraction screams, "Look over there." This stratagem whispers, "Nothing unusual is happening." It uses routine, ceremony, paperwork, public signals, or repeated behavior as camouflage. The visible story is not empty. It is believable enough to lower suspicion and stable enough to survive a second glance. In the traditional Chinese telling, an emperor is reluctant to cross the sea. His advisors turn the ship into something that feels like a palace or banquet hall. When the emperor relaxes inside the familiar setting, the vessel is already moving. The lesson is not the furniture. It is the psychology of accepted appearances. Fear drops when the environment looks controlled. The Trojan horse is the Western myth everyone knows. The Greeks appeared to leave a gift, and Troy interpreted the object through ritual and victory. Hidden soldiers turned a public symbol into a route through the city wall. It is not a perfect historical parallel, but as a cultural case it shows the same mechanism. The gate opens because the cover story feels safe, honorable, and already explained. In 1943, Allied planners wanted Germany to expect an invasion of Greece and Sardinia, not Sicily. Operation Mincemeat created a false officer identity and planted misleading documents where German intelligence would find them. The operation did not merely say, "Sicily is not the target." It built a world around the lie, a name, letters, personal effects, and plausible military logic. That detail matters. A weak deception asks the enemy to believe a claim. A stronger deception lets the enemy discover evidence and feel clever for drawing the wrong conclusion. Mincemeat worked because the false story arrived through channels the target already trusted, intercepted material, bureaucratic format, and strategic expectations. It did not fight the intelligence system. It fed it. A year later, Operation Fortitude helped protect the Normandy landings. The Allies encouraged Germany to believe the main invasion would come at Pas-de-Calais. They used dummy tanks, fake radio traffic, controlled leaks, and the reputation of General George Patton. The decoy army was visible enough to be believed, and organized enough to match what a real army should look like. Fortitude is a textbook version of crossing the sea under the heaven's eyes. German observers were watching the coast, the radio spectrum, the chain of command, and the logic of geography. The Allies did not ask them to stop watching. They gave them a complete theater to watch while the real movement gathered elsewhere. The more carefully the decoy was inspected, the more useful it became. Across the Trojan horse, Mincemeat, and Fortitude, the pattern repeats. First, identify what the watcher expects. Second, build a visible story that satisfies that expectation. Third, move the real objective through the blind spot created by acceptance. The cover is not separate from the action. The cover is the bridge, and the watcher helps build it by trusting their own pattern recognition. But this stratagem has a dangerous edge. In war, deception may save lives by shortening conflict or protecting an operation. In business, politics, or personal life, the same pattern can become manipulation. The practical question is not only, can we hide the move? It is also, what trust is destroyed when the cover is revealed? So the modern lesson is simple. When something important happens in plain sight, do not ask only what is hidden. Ask what has been made to look normal. Deceive the heavens to cross the sea is a reminder that the strongest mask is often not secrecy. It is familiarity.